How are you, everybody? And welcome to our kinda, sorta live Thanksgiving shopping special. I am Brayton. This is
Karina.
And
Andre. Hola.
We're so happy to be here. Like I mentioned, it's kinda, sorta live. We're recording this in advance. However, if you look below from wherever you're watching, there's gonna be a comment section. And if you're watching this as we're putting it out there, if you have any questions about what we're talking about, feel free to put them in the chat, and all three of us will actually be in the chat. So we're kind of like traveling through time to interact with you on the chat, to answer any of the questions we have about the amazing products we're going to talk about today. Today, or this video, we're actually going to be talking about home theater. So we have a bunch of really cool televisions and also some really cool home audio solutions to share with you. Regardless of where you're watching from, I just want to remind you to hit the like or subscribe or the favorite or the heart or whatever buttons that there are for you to make sure that you don't miss future streams that we're going to do. A lot of times we come at you live. This particular one, because it's for the holidays, we're pre-recording and traveling through time for you. But we're super excited to be here. And I think let's just get after it. Are you want to switch to this camera? Are you ready? I'm ready.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, the X77L. What do you guys think?
Oh, I love this TV. Is fantastic.
Yep.
Because great value for an LED TV. Unlike other TVs in the market, right? You have those entry-level TVs. This is still a great premium TV. Direct LED, bright TV, great contrast, great processing. We're using the X1 processor. So the control of the lighting is going to be fantastic. Everything you watch, sports, movies, TV shows, it's just going to look great. Great motion, great color, great contrast.
Fun fact, the X1 processor was the processor on our flagship TVs just a couple years ago. So it's going to do really great upscaling. The thing about TV at this price range, we want to ball on a budget, and we're not always watching 4K content, right? So when we're watching that over-the-air antenna, or we're watching that older 80s movie, we want to upscale it. We want it to look good. And that's what the X1 processor is going to do.
For sure, yeah. And when we talk about upscaling, it doesn't just make things look sharper, but it also enhances things like color, makes motion look more clear. When you're talking about the X1 processor, it's also going to enhance things like HDR when we're talking about things like that. And the X77L is also available in a huge array of sizes. Pretty much our biggest array of sizes that we have available, from 43 inches all the way up to 85 inches. And we're talking about a TV at this price point, it's really hard to beat. Most TVs, competitive TVs in this price point, don't even hold a candle to this TV. No pun intended, because it's the holiday season. Lots of holiday spirit. One thing I do want to talk about before we move on, though, with the X77L, you mentioned it briefly, is the backlight. So a lot of TVs, again, in this price point where the X77L kind of sits, have what's called an edge light. Just like Karina's pointing over here, most TVs, especially TVs in this price range, have what's called an edge light, meaning there's just a bar of light at the bottom of the screen and it kind of shines up through the TV. This has a few different drawbacks to it, including obviously just not as much overall brightness. Viewing angles sometimes can be affected, but when you have the backlight that's featured in the X77L, which you mentioned is the direct backlight, that means instead of just that bar of light at the bottom of the screen, it's going to shine all the way up through the entire screen. So you're going to get a much more consistent, much more vibrant image, get sometimes better viewing angles, and just better contrast overall. All that packed into a great price at the X77L. I love that TV.
Yeah.
We're going to do this a little different this time.
It sounds good. TV sounds good.
The TV is good.
Sounds good too, like the audio.
Oh, it does. However, we're going to talk about, because we're recording this on a Tuesday. We mentioned this the previous stream if you didn't watch it, but since it's Tuesday, that's Taco Tuesday. So let's talk about it. One of the soundbars I think pairs great with the X77L would be the HTX 8500. So the HTX 8500 is a great soundbar at an amazing price, really kind of fits in that same wheelhouse as the X77L. It's a 2.1 soundbar in a very compact form factor, has built-in subwoofers right out of the box, so you don't have to deal with an external sub. It's going to have pretty much the full experience in the bar itself. And the price and the experience that it gives is going to really match up with the X77. I think it's a great pairing. And like you said, our TVs do have pretty decent sound out of the box, but nothing compares to having an external sound system. And the HTX 8500 is a great option for that. It also supports, we should mention this, it also supports Dolby Atmos and DTSX. So again, we're talking about the price point that the X77L sits at and what it brings to the table compared to competitors. The HTX 8500 also brings a lot of that premium feature set to the table at a very, very accessible price. It's a great soundbar for a lot of the rooms in the house, especially if you're going to have like maybe a bedroom TV or an office TV and you want to be able to fill that medium size, smaller size room up with sound. I think the HTX 8500 is a great pairing for that TV.
Yeah, and you have the little subs built in too. You have the subwoofer built in, so 2.1, great lows, mids, highs. You're going to get well-balanced audio. It's going to sound really, really good.
Good luck finding a 2.1 soundbar with that feature set. Dolby Atmos, DTSX. Like, good luck finding that, because you're not going to find it at that price point.
And like we mentioned, even though we're on the screen right now, we're also in the chat. So if you want to go ahead and try to look for competitive TV that maybe meets these features for the same price, go ahead and let us know. I don't think you're going to do it, but maybe you will, probably not. That being said, let's move on to the next TV on the list. Which one is it? I think we have
the X75, the X85K.
X85K, what do you got for that?
And again, another TV with direct LED. It looks beautiful. Now we add Triluminous to the party, so bigger colors. And the X1 HDR processor.
Yes.
So even controlling the backlight, controlling the color, controlling the motion. Wonderful TV. And then gaming features built in. You have 4K at 120, which, looks fantastic. So yeah, X85K, wonderful.
X85K.
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 It's been a long Taco Tuesday.
It's been a long Taco Tuesday, but like Andre was saying, you got that full feature set. You have Triluminous, which, by the way, over 1 billion shades of color, which is insane. You're looking at gaming features. So not only does it have the variable refresh rate, HDMI 2.1, it also features our game menu, which there's a lot of cool features there. And then great quality all around, good contrast, good color. It's an all around a well-molded television.
Yeah, great price. You can get the 43-inch for gaming, like your gaming space.
Yep.
It's a great monitor.
Yeah, the X85K, I think, really hits a sweet spot, especially for not only gaming enthusiasts, but people who just like to watch, action movies, sports, etc. It has a large quantity of those benchmark features that really qualify a 4K TV in 2023 to be a premium TV.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really break the bank. And I want to touch on a couple more things just so that you guys at home watching here really understand. When you mentioned Triluminous, we talked about edge lights versus direct lights, for instance. When we talk about Triluminous, most TVs, like the vast majority of TVs, make around 1 million colors. Some TVs make over 1 billion. 1 billion, over that.
1
That's
billion.
1,000 times more color. So when we're talking about Triluminous technology at this price point, instead of, for instance, 10 shades of red, you're going to get 10,000 shades of red. That's going to mean that your favorite sports team's jerseys are going to look more realistic. The grass in the field is going to look the way that it looks when you're maybe actually sitting there. Your video games are going to look the way that they were meant to be experienced. And like you mentioned, the full suite of gaming features. HDMI 2.1, meaning you get 4K at 120 hertz, variable refresh rate, like you mentioned. Our new game menu, which allows you to adjust a lot of the features that gamers have come to love without diving into whole separate settings menus. You can just pull up that little menu at the bottom of the screen and turn VRR on and off. Or there's a few other really cool features that we can talk about in a minute on our other TVs, but the game menu is really awesome. I love the X85K. That being said, do you guys have anything else to add about the X85K?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Dolby Vision.
Oh, yeah. Duh.
Yeah.
What a great TV, because, you have to support the best premium format. Dolby Vision, right? Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision, this TV, we were talking about colors, processing. You watch, anything you stream with Dolby Vision, it just gives you that the best, how creators intended for that content to be seen.
Right. Yeah, we talk about that all the time. Sony is an entertainment company, so it's natural that the industry leaders in format production partner with us to make sure that our TVs support those formats. So if you're watching on your favorite streaming service, or if you're even watching maybe a hard copy of a movie that does Dolby Vision support, that TV is going to support it. We paired the X77L with the HTX 8500, which is a great pairing. The HTX 8500 would also work with any of the TVs we're going to talk about today, but I think that the soundbar, the S2000, is going to be kind of another, adjacent solution for the X85K. Do you guys want to lead off anything about the S2000?
Oh, yeah. I love talking about the S2000. It's a dope soundbar for the price point. It's a 3.1 channel, so you get that built-in woofer. You have your left, you have your right channel, but you also have that center channel for dialogue. Now, my number one thing is sometimes I can't hear what people are saying. Got to turn the volume all the way up just to hear what's going on, just to hear whatever dialogue's going on. Boom, explosions, whatever else is happening, got to turn it down. So that's kind of a pain. So to be able to have a soundbar with the center channel is dope. And what's even better is voice mode. So on the remote for this soundbar is a little button that says voice. Click on it. It increases the decibels of that center channel even more. So that way it's a lot easier to hear that dialogue. So no more need for subtitles, no more need to turn that volume all the way up. It just makes it so much more convenient to be able to hear what's going on.
Yeah, and depending on where you're watching your content, content that you stream especially can be compressed. So sometimes, like what you were describing, if you're watching an action movie, for instance, you might notice sometimes that a lot of the non-voice sounds are super loud, but then when people are talking, you just can't really hear it. That voice button that you were talking about not only increases that center channel, but also uses an algorithm to accentuate spoken word. So if you're watching, maybe it doesn't matter if it's an action movie or your favorite rom-com later at night, and you don't want to wake up your family, for instance, you're still able to hear clearly what everyone is saying on the screen without needing to crank up all that extra sound.
Yeah, and a lot of people ask me, okay, this is great, but how easy it is to set it up? And I don't know but the Home Entertainment Connect app, it is an amazing app, easy to set up. Download it into your phone, open it up, it pairs automatically to your soundbar. It finds it right away, super easy. It tells you how to connect soundbar to your TV. You choose audio return channel, anything you like. And then from there, it's so simple. You can set up how far away you are from the bar, how high your ceilings are. So it kind of customizes the audio for you. I mean, not just having great audio, but customized for your space. That is great value for the bar, and you can pick it up right now.
That's a really good point, Andre. I didn't even think about that app. And when you said it comes to setting it up and connecting more devices, I think it also walks you through how to connect the woofer, which, by the way, you can get our SW3 woofer, our SW5 woofer, or our RS3 rears to add on to that sound even more.
Simplicity at its best. You talk about picking it up, connecting it to your TV. It tells you right there on your phone everything you need to know.
We've discussed this once before, and this might be the last time I tell you. You keep teaching me this new stuff when we're on the stream. Doesn't even give me a warning. That being said, just kidding. But seriously, I do want to reiterate the functionality with our rear channel wireless speakers and our wireless subs. So the S2000 is the first soundbar in our lineup that allows you to expand and grow that soundstage. Even if all you do is get the S2000 at first, it is compatible with our SW3 and our SW5 subwoofer, and it also is compatible with our wireless speakers our wireless rear speakers, as we like to call them, which can take that 3.1 bar and turn it into a 5.1 bar, which is really awesome. That being said, we've talked about the X77L, we've talked about the X85K. which are two awesome direct lit TVs, two really affordable soundbars, great solutions. Before we move on, I just want to remind you guys, time traveling us are in the comments. So if you have any questions about anything we've already talked about or anything that we're going to cover, go ahead and throw them in the comments and we'll be in there ready to answer it for you. Depending on where you're watching from, you'll also be able to probably find these products somewhere below the screen here if you want to buy them. So don't want to get too specific because you might be watching from here, you might be watching from there. Either way, the holiday spirit is with you. It's with us on this Taco Tuesday. Anyway, let's get into our cognitive processor XR TVs. What's the first one on the lineup, guys?
X90.
X90L.
X90.
X90L.
Yep. Wonderful TV. This TV, full array, local dimming, LED TV. It is the jack of all trades.
Yes.
It's got, great contrast. The brightness is there. The colors pop. As we talked about, Dolby Vision, it supports all the premium video formats available in the market. It's got gaming features. X90L is a wonderful TV for anything you want to do with it.
And this holiday season, I'm pretty sure, again, we're kind of traveling through time, but little birdie told me that the X90L is going to be an extremely aggressive price point. So depending on where you might be shopping for it, just look at it twice because the price is probably about as good as it's going to get. I wanted to touch base on a couple more things that you already mentioned because when we went from the X77L and the X85K up into that X90L, you talked about full array backlight. For those of you watching that aren't super familiar with TVs like we are, we talk about them every day. Most TVs, again, have just a standard light that can do one level of brightness at once. If it's a darker scene, the light turns down. If it's a brighter scene, the light turns up. When you start stepping into a high contrast backlight, or in the X90L's case, full array backlight, that TV is able to do kind of multiple levels of brightness. I'm using this. This is actually an X90L right here. I know that there's no super exciting images on it, but basically what a high contrast backlight does in the X90L is able to get bright here, for instance, and dark here at the same time.
Yeah.
So for you at home, if you're watching your favorite movies or TV shows or even playing games, it's able to create a lot more color on the screen at any given point. It's able to create much more details and darkness. That's kind of where contrast comes into play, and it really separates it from the majority of other TVs that you can get. And I think that the high contrast is something that really sets it apart besides the cognitive processor XR.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's what the processor do is because a lot of TVs nowadays, they're bright, right? But the XART, the cognitive processor XART, understands how, to control the backlight. So it looks, it looks natural. It's pleasant to watch. It, shadow detail. If you're playing video games, you can see your character in the shadows, right?
Right.
So it gives you the detail. The detail is there. The color is there. It's something that you really are going to enjoy from, this TV is...
Yeah, it's our bread and butter
It's
TV.
a bread and butter.
So just to kind of encapsulate it, just so you guys kind of get the big picture with the X90L, is it has our flagship processor in it. This is the same processor that we use in even our most impressive flagship TVs. It also has the whole suite of gaming features, HDMI 2.1, variable refresh rate, auto low latency mode. It has the Triluminous color on it, like you talked about earlier, so it makes over 1 billion colors. It also has the full array backlight, like we mentioned, and pretty much checks all the boxes when it comes to a premium television experience in 2023 at an amazing price. It's also available in a full array. See what I did there? Sizes. 55. We have a 65. We have a 75. We have an 85. And there's this camera right here. We also have a 98 inch for this TV. So just
in all sizes that look great. It doesn't matter if you are on a 55 or the 98 inch. It's just incredible how when you have the technology, you go big, right? The picture still looks amazing. It looks sharp. It look, it's the 98 inch is a beauty. Yeah. And then what are we going to pair it with? What soundbar are we going to pair it with?
don't steal it yet there,
Yes.
Andre. We're going to do the last sound solution at the end. So that's giving you a reason to stay tuned here until the end. But I want to move on to
Something brighter.
something brighter, but still in that LED space.
Mm-hmm.
X93L.
That's
Talk
it.
about the X93L. Now, this is a mini LED. I like to consider it a jacked up full array. And by that, you still have those dimming zones that you're talking about earlier, Brayton, but now those LEDs behind the panel are miniature. So therefore, there's a lot more of them, and more lights equals more brightness. This is the TV I recommend for you folks out there that have that living space with a lot of ambient light. You got a lot of windows, you have a lot of glare. You need something bright to combat that. One of the things that the mini LED offers, besides just having that mini LED technology, is the X wide viewing angle and anti-reflection technology on the panel. So you don't have to worry about glare. You don't have to worry about having blackout curtains. You don't have to worry about watching TV during the day and not being able to see. Because with the mini LED, you're gonna have that brightness.
Yeah, so we talk about like the full array high contrast backlight in that X90L, being able to do multiple levels of brightness. Like you mentioned, a mini LED just takes that same concept and just multiplies it. There's more lights, they're smaller, so they can draw sharper levels of contrast, but also because there is more lights, that TV is brighter. Like you mentioned, it has the anti-reflection and the wide angle, so you don't have to fight over who has the best seat in the house, because even if you're off to the side for your big game party, as they call it, even if you're off to the side, you have a great seat. And one of the things that I think shouldn't be left out among all the other features we already mentioned with the X90 is that the X93, our mini LED technology, has something called the Backlight Master Drive. The Backlight Master Drive is basically a dedicated process that we've developed to control all of those extra lights. Some of our competitors also make a mini LED option, but we're the only company that has a dedicated process to control just the lights. There's a lot of lights and it gets really bright and has a lot of contrast, but we have put basically its own brain just to make sure that we get the brightest brights, the darkest darks, and the best control available for that technology, which I think really sets it apart from a lot of other TVs.
This TV is phenomenal. And you have all these technologies, and now you need the content to watch on it, right? And we have Bravia Core built into these TVs.
That's right.
Which gives you really good content streaming right from home. And you buy the TV and you get movie credits with the TV that you can redeem and start watching right away.
That's right.
So you have all these mini LED technology, brightness, contrast, and now you have the content that you can get in right away and start watching some really good.
Yeah, I actually, that's a good thing you mentioned that. The one thing I wanted to add on to Bravia Core is a lot of streaming services are able to push things out in Dolby Vision and in 4K. Bravia Core is a little bit more unique because it's able to push things at the closest to uncompressed content that you can get. The closest to like hard copy disc, 4K,
I always forget.
full HDR content that you can get.
Pure stream, right?
Pure stream, that's it. See, look at you at all. Yes, they're on point.
This stuff is really good. If you have really good internet, this is your picture is gonna be really good. Because now
It's as good as it gets for
as
streaming.
good as it gets.
Yes.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Now, we've talked about all of our LEDs in this Thanksgiving shopping special, sorta, kinda live. It's a lot of words.
Yeah.
I want to move on to something that I hold near and dear to my heart, OLED. And we're going to start with, I think we should start with the A75L. This is something that's a little bit new to our lineup. The A75L is an OLED. It also features the cognitive processor XR, the same processor that we just talked about in the last two TVs. One of the things that I think needs to be noted if you're not super familiar with just TVs in general is when we talk about the full array backlight and we talk about the mini LED and the contrast control, the thing that really sets OLED apart and makes it unique is that in a 4K TV, there are 8 million pixels, right? Which is just a lot. It's just a big old number. The thing about OLED is that each individual of those 8 million pixels has independent control. So instead of having a block of light here that can get bright and dark, each individual tiny little pixel can turn on and off independently, meaning you can have a pitch black sky with super bright stars in it, which is something that only OLEDs really can accomplish right now in 2023. It It also has acoustic surface technology. What that means for you is that our A-series OLEDs out of the box they're called actuators behind the glass of the OLED that vibrate the screen and create a really rich out-of-the-box sound. And I think that separates it even from other OLEDs in the market, that you can't find that technology anywhere else.
Yeah, the screen needs the speaker. So it sounds phenomenal. And then, you have the picture, you have the sound.
Yep.
And even in, we were talking about each pixel controlling itself. If you're into movies, TV shows, it's just going to give you such a great picture quality no matter what you're watching.
And I think I'm going to hand off the A80 to you. You cool with that?
Yeah.
But I just want to mention before too, we've covered a lot of different features in a lot of these TVs, including all the gaming features, the better processors, etc. Both these TVs that we're covering right now, including the A75L and the A80L, which you're about to talk about, have all those features we already talked about. So the game menu, the HDMI 2.1, the Triluminous, all those things, these are all going to be featured on these most current TVs that we're talking about. So that's enough about the A75L. What do you think about the A80?
So the A80 and the A75L, those aren't too different from each other. They both have that cognitive processor XR. They're both OLED. They both have the acoustic surface audio. Now, what makes the A80 a little bit different is going to be, for one, the multi-position stand, which I love the ability for options. I love to decide if I want to lift my TV up to accommodate a soundbar underneath, like the S2000 or some of our A-series soundbars. I like to be able to decide if I want it to sit low to the ground. It looks nice, it looks sleek. But I also want to be able to decide, maybe I want that stand more center. Some people out there just don't have big TV stands. So to be able to bring that stand in, A75L is lacking that, but the A80 has that feature.
Right. Yeah, and they both bring almost identical, beautiful picture. But you're right, the versatility of the A80's multi-position stand is awesome. And they both have acoustic surface technology. The A80L has acoustic surface
Audio
plus, which just adds an additional subwoofer built into the television, which is going to give you a little bit more rich, more dynamic sound. Now, all of the four last TVs we've talked about, the 90L, there you are, the 93L, the A80L, and the A75L are all part of our cognitive processor XR line. All of them have enhanced audio out of the box. This last sound solution that we're going to talk about is compatible to a feature that's exclusive to the XR line of the four last TVs we've talked about, called Acoustic Center Sync. And that now, Andre, brings you to, go ahead, you take it away.
Well, with Acoustic Center Sync, you also have S-Center Sync output to the soundbar. Which is, we have the A7000 soundbar that you can connect right to it. And the A7000 soundbar is a 7.2.
That's right.
7.2 soundbar. So you have really good separation of audio. You're connecting your TV to the soundbar, and they both sync with each other to give you this really nice center channel that comes out of the TV and the soundbar. They sync together, give you a really good center channel. So
that's right. I was just saying that our entire A-series soundbar lineup, 3000, 5000, 7000, all work with the feature that we like to call Acoustic Center Sync. All the XR TVs, like we mentioned, come with enhanced audio out of the box. And sometimes people might think, well, the TV comes with enhanced audio. Why do I want a TV with enhanced audio? If I get a sound system, I got the enhanced audio for what? That's what Acoustic Center Sync does. It actually utilizes that enhanced audio on the television in conjunction with our A-series sound solutions. The one thing that we're featuring today, and thank you for mentioning the A-series soundbars, is the AN1000.
yes,
This is a brand new receiver that we just came out with. It's a 7.2 channel receiver, and there are a few things that really set it apart that I'm super excited about. First and foremost, what we just mentioned, Acoustic Center Sync technology compatibility, meaning that this receiver, which is a multi-HDMI input, multi-channel, powerful receiver, can work in synchronization with the enhanced audio on the TVs that we already talked about. But the thing that really just blew my mind when we announced this receiver is that it works with the wireless rear speakers that we offer and the wireless subwoofers that normally go with our A-series soundbars. These are super powerful, super crispy, amazing, easy to use, easy to pair accessories that normally work with our soundbars. And there's a few different options for each. But this is the first receiver that I've ever seen, and we'll have to double check with the production guys if it's the only one that even exists.
I think anyone else does that.
Right. One of the main things about receivers is that when you set up, let's say, a 7.2 channel system, there's wires running everywhere. They can be the most powerful, most clear sounding sound system that you can get. But the problem is, depending on how big your room is or how big the ceilings are, you might be running wires through drywall or down under the floorboards or through the walls or whatever. The nice thing about the AN1000 is it gives you that full power of a high quality receiver. It allows you to choose whatever speakers you want to use, especially in the front, the right, the left, and the center. But if you don't want to run all those different wires through your room and don't want to punch holes in your walls or whatever you might want to do, you can get our SW3 sub or our SW5 sub, which is totally wireless. All it needs is a power outlet. And you can also do the same thing with our rears, which I believe we have. It's compatible with the RS3s and the RS5s, yes. So these products, depending on where you're watching from, should be somewhere below the screen. But this, I can't emphasize it enough, sets this receiver apart. You're able to take all the advantages and all the versatility of a powerful receiver, but also be able to pair our highly rated, high performance wireless sub and rears with it, and forget about all that wire running, which is just it. Like I know I'm sounding overexcited, but no receiver has done that yet.
No,
it's kind of like the best of both worlds. A lot of people get sound bars, especially ours, for the wireless rears and subs because they pair easy and they don't have to run the wires. Now you can get all those advantages of a receiver plus not have to run the wires. So
a lot of people, I see them all the time. They're like, how easy it is to set up a receiver. It's really tough. And now you're adding wireless speakers and wireless subs. This stuff is like complicated, but it's not. It's super simple. You connect your receiver or even any of the A-series soundbars, connect them right into the TV, and you'll see the menu for the bars and the receiver on the TV. And from there is very simple. Watch, settings, you can scroll down, and then from there you can tune the soundbars and the receiver, do a calibration for your room. This is customizable audio. I don't think anybody does this. And it just makes, everything, the immersion, the spatial mapping, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, we're pairing, professional level performance with the experience of customers who might not be at a professional level with their experience. Just like some of the cameras we talked about earlier today, we're taking a receiver that's powerful, that delivers a theater-like experience, and we're making it easy to access and easy to use for people who may never have even ever had an external sound system. And I think one of the things, or a couple of the things I want to reiterate about the AN1000 before we close up is, besides the functionality with the rears and the subs, besides obviously the options to add additional speakers up to 7 channels, it also has Bluetooth functionality. It does Dolby Atmos, DTSX. It has multiple different HDMI inputs. It does HDMI 2.1 pass-through. It does 8K, yep. I mean, this is a full suite receiver. It's awesome. It works with acoustic center sync. And like you said, a lot of receivers, especially, I'm not sure if you guys have ever set up like an older receiver. If you wanted to like calibrate it to your room, you had to get like these proprietary microphones and put them around the room. This does I believe it's called sound field optimization. Just once you set up your speakers where they are, you get your subs and your rears and everything set up, it'll calibrate to the room, whatever size, height, ceilings, whatever, and optimize it for your room. Basically, just like you said, with an easy setup button, press of the button, and you're off to the races with one of the most impressive home theater systems you can get. You don't even have to have any expertise.
Yeah. So great products for this holiday season. Great prizes. This is a time to, reward yourself for such a, long year. And then give to others, and make everybody happy. And
this particular section of our Not So Live Thanksgiving holiday shopping special extravaganza, whatever you want to call it, is all about the spirit of gift giving. Whether you're gifting it to yourself or you're gifting it to a loved one. And it doesn't matter if you're a naughty or nice. I think everyone deserves some good sound with an even more awesome display. What do you guys think?
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. I feel the holiday spirit is surging through my veins. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you have any questions about the products that you've seen here today, feel free to leave some comments in the comment section below. We should be there. Time Traveling Us should be down in the comments. Hit whatever buttons you see that will make sure that you don't miss future productions by us, whether it's a like or a subscribe or a favorite or a heart or star or whatever buttons you might see from wherever you're watching.
We love everything.
Yes, they all help us, and they'll make sure that you don't miss out on future really cool deals because, again, 'tis the season, isn't it?
Yes.
That being said, I've been Brayden. This is
Karina.
And Andre. Hasta la vista.
Yes, thank you so much for watching, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.